is enough said.
Happy Hump Day, Heat Nation. Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Would really appreciate if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get it ready to rock and roll on another Miami Heat Talk adventure, because I got a good one for you today, you guys. Today we're talking about the Miami Heat and what we can do to improve our team this upcoming season. How can the Miami Heat compete with the Boston Celtics for the 2025 season? Now, as we know, the Boston Celtics defeated the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals, and for some reason, they didn't want to party in Boston. They actually came down to Miami to celebrate. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's kind of weird. I mean, I know there's not much to do in Boston, but that's like the biggest FU. So, I mean, it just continues the rivalry. It's great to see, because I know the Miami Heat are coming for the Boston Celtics next year. Now, the Heat didn't have the best 2024 season, as we know. You got bounced out of the first round by the Boston Celtics. You had Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier injured. Duncan Robinson was not 100% as well. Jaime Jaquez also got injured in the playoffs. So the 2024 season was riddled for injury by the Miami Heat. It was a really bad year for us. So what's the first thing we need to do to compete with the Boston Celtics? Well, we need to hit in this upcoming draft. And when I say hit, I mean two different options. One, you pick the right player, like you have in previous past, like Jaime Jaquez Jr., Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. All of those picks were not top 10. But we hit on all of them, including Nikola Jovic in 2021. He was a late first-round pick. We hit in that one as well. You got to hit in this pick. Or package these picks and get the right player on this team. Whether you're trading in draft night or whether you draft the player, keep them for the 30 days, and then draft them in the offseason. So you got to hit in this draft, whether you're picking the right player or whether you're grabbing the right piece for a trade. Now, ESPN reported earlier today. They actually reported their updated mock draft for 2024. And the Miami Heat were projected to pick Zach Edey from Purdue, the 7'4", 300-pound phenom. Now, look, I understand that Zach Edey is a beautiful, shiny toy for the Miami Heat. I understand that a lot of Heat fans want to grab somebody like him because he gives something that the Miami Heat has not had in a very long time. Size presence down low and a really monster defensive presence. A guy that can rebound, a guy that can block shots. That's not something the Miami Heat has. He gives all the qualities that the Heat possess. Now, he doesn't really have a three-point game. He's not really that quick. I mean, even though in the combine he did show his speed, but we know Erik Spoelstra doesn't really play big guys like this. The last time Erik Spoelstra had a guy like that was Hassan Whiteside, and we saw that it didn't really work. But if Zach Edey can commit to developing a three-point shot like Chris Bosh did here in Miami, if Zach Edey can commit to dropping about 30 to 40 pounds, be more quicker on his feet, I think it'll work. Erik Spoelstra and the Miami Heat developmental system is one of the best in the NBA. And if they draft Zach Edey, it's for a specific reason. So I'm all for drafting Zach Edey and bringing him in this Miami Heat team. There's a lot of other players in the draft that really fit on this roster, but I think if you draft a guy like Zach Edey, you're adding something to your team that you didn't have last year, and he can help you immediately. Whether it's starting next to Bam, or his rifle position where I feel would be perfect for Edey, coming off the bench, playing those 15 to 20 minutes while Bam takes a rest on the bench or gets into foul trouble. I think a 1-2 punch of Bam and Zach Edey would be beautiful. Eventually move Zach Edey to the starting center role and allow Bam to move to his power forward role when he's fully developed his three-point shot. So you got to hit in the draft. That's one way that you need to compete with Boston next year, because we're over the luxury tax. So we don't have salary cap space to sign these free agents coming up. So you got to get creative in bringing in new players. Another thing you need to do, if you really want to contend with the Boston Celtics next year, you got to keep Jimmy Butler. All these trade ideas for Jimmy, all these rumors about Jimmy Butler leaving the Heat, we all know it's not going to happen. We know that Jimmy Butler will stay in the Miami Heat unless things get really bad. Like if the Miami Heat start the season like 8-20, there's no shot making the playoffs. Jimmy Butler hasn't been given his contract extension. He's on the final year of his contract. Maybe then something like that could possibly happen. But right now, the Miami Heat, I feel that they really shouldn't give Jimmy the extension. They should wait. These last 2 seasons is proof that the Miami Heat need to take the regular season serious. And the only way you can take the regular season serious is have Jimmy Butler play with an incentive. What's the incentive? Getting more money. How do you get more money? Ball out the last year of your contract. Every player does that. We know that is the biggest thing in sports. When a player is on the final year of their contract, they will maximize their play to maximize the amount that they get. Jimmy Butler is going to be 35 in September. He's not going to get a monster contract after this one. He's going to play for the contract. If the Heat do not give him a contract extension this offseason, yeah, you may run into a risk of pissing him off, but at that point, it doesn't really matter. He's making $48 million. He has a player option for $50 million next year. Who's going to really be pissed off making that type of money playing basketball? Like, you don't have to give him the extension this offseason. I feel if Miami does give Jimmy the extension this offseason, we're going to have the same problems in the regular season that we've had. You're rewarding his mediocre behavior in the regular season. So if you do not give him an extension, it's going to motivate him to play. Now we're not going to have these running jokes about Jimmy Butler not giving a shit from October to February. I understand it's been a funny little thing to talk about the last couple of years, but it's not funny anymore. You know, this getting into the play-in for the last few years, it ain't funny anymore. You know, I understand that 2023 was this beautiful Cinderella run, you guys, but this past year, we got smacked in the face by reality. You cannot continue to play mediocrely in the regular season and just think that in the playoffs you're going to turn it on. You got to get better seeding in the regular season. You are only 4 games down from the 2nd seed this past year. Had you just taken the regular season a little bit more serious, had you taken it just a little bit more serious, you would have been top 4. And we would probably have not been having this conversation right now. Now look, maybe the Miami Heat have a beautiful Cinderella run again in 2024. If Jimmy Butler doesn't get hurt, I really feel that game against Philadelphia was Miami's to win. Jimmy was having a great game. I feel the Heat would have won that game had he not gotten injured. The Heat would have played against New York in the first round. And who knows, Miami probably would have won again. My opinion, you guys, if Jimmy Butler was fully healthy against New York, I'd take Miami all day. But we can't really have that conversation because the season is over. So the only thing that we can control is what's going to happen for next year. And next season, we need all of these players to make a commitment for the regular season. Now look, Tyler Hero got injured twice. Like, that stuff happens. I feel if Tyler Hero would have played at least 60 to 65 games last year, we would have had a better regular season. But it is what it is. But we need a full commitment from everyone to be available, to play. If you're healthy, play. Last regular season, Jimmy Butler took the 3rd game off in the regular season for rest. What the hell is that? The 3rd game? No, we can't have that. We need everybody to make a full commitment into going all in the regular season and getting a high seeding. And I really feel, you guys, that this Boston Celtics championship, this whole season that we had, I think the Miami Heat players are going to finally wake up. I think Eric Spoelstra is finally going to be able to look at these players, the great coach that he is, to look at these players and see, you see, guys? You see what I'm saying? This is why we take the regular season serious. Because in 2023, when the Heat had that magical run in the playoffs, I really feel that during the regular season in 2024, Spo couldn't really say much. He probably, this is me speculating, there's no rumors, but I'm just saying, maybe Spo was like, come on guys, we got to be more serious, everybody's got to play, and then their mentality is probably like, look what we did it last year as an 8th seed, we'll be fine. Jimmy Butler said it all season long during the regular season when the Heat were doing bad, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. When the playoffs comes, we'll be fine. We weren't fine. So I believe that this Miami Heat team, all these players need to look at themselves in the mirror and ask themselves what they really want. And if that's an NBA championship, you got to go all in. This is Jimmy Butler's final shot. I mean, after your 35th year, you start to dwindle down. So this is Jimmy's shot, in my opinion, to really go Himmy mode this year. You got bounced out from the first round. You're going to have a long period of rest. Training camp comes, a full year with all these players. Terry Rozier with this team. Give me a fully healthy team. Give me players playing at least 65 games. Our top players, Bam, Tyler, Jimmy, Terry Rozier. If everybody can commit to a minimum of 65 or more games, I think this Heat can be great. And look at me, that's 65 games. That's taking 17 games off. That's ridiculous. We should really have players commit to more of 70, 75 games. I don't think Jimmy Butler's body can take it, but I'm curious to see what this team can really do when fully healthy. Now, maybe a trade is needed. Maybe you do need to get a player like Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, Lauri Markkanen. Maybe that's the only way Miami can truly compete with Boston now because Jimmy Butler's getting up there in age. We want Tyler Hero to be that guy. We've wanted Tyler Hero for years to take that reign from Jimmy to be the number one scorer. He does it at times, but not consistently. Maybe the real answer is for the Miami Heat to package Tyler Hero, a few draft picks, maybe a young asset, and get that guy that can truly be your number one scorer during the regular season and you can give the ball to in the playoffs. Now look, Terry Rozier can be that guy also, you guys. Terry Rozier was balling with the Miami Heat towards the end of the season before he got hurt. So maybe this team really does have it. Maybe having Tyler Hero commit to the six-man role, Terry Rozier being that guy, having Jimmy, Bam, Terry, and Tyler lead this offense, maybe it can be something. So I want to hear from you, Heat fans. How do you feel that the Miami Heat can truly compete with the Boston Celtics next year? I'm really interested what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Don't forget to like the video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, let me know. You think Zach Edey's the right choice for the draft for the Miami Heat? Or do you think it's another player? Let me know in the comments your thoughts, you guys. We are on the road to 4,000 subscribers. We are 90 subscribers away from that big 4,000. I want to thank each and every one of you that supports this channel. I love y'all. Enjoy your Wednesday. And that is enough said.